There we go. Now I'm in here. All right, let's see if we can get anybody on here. See if I can scare up the crowd and get anybody in here. Oh, Lordy. 9:30 at night, I might have them turning in. We'll stick around here a little bit and see if. Oh, there we got something popping. Hey, Greg. Howdy, Joy. Ag Tech. Yeah, I'm jumping in here on what is the day? Tuesday, isn't it? I have to look. Hey, Joshua, how are you? Yeah, I'll send you a link if you want me to. Just give me that email address. Let me see. I think I got it. Let me see if I hadn't got it, Joshua. I've been wanting to get you on here anyway. Let me see. Have you got a camera and everything set up, Joshua? I'll put you on here if we can. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to put Joshua on here. Let me go out here to my email right quick and see if I can get Joshua. I'm gonna send you the link of what I had last time, Joshua. Let me see. I think I still have the email. Should come up. Yeah, there it is, Joshua at iCloud. All right, I've got that. Now let me go out here and grab the invite. And I will go back out here to Joshua and see if I can't give him the link. And there it is. Okay, I have sent you the invite, Joshua. We'll see how quick it takes you to get on. But I sent you the invite just now. You can give me hey, Mike's Garage. Hey, Ralph, how are you? Ralph, how are you doing now? Are you, is your health pretty good now? Oh, that's the other Mike though. Oh, Mike's Garage had it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Ralph actually had Ralph, you had the corona. I'm right, aren't you? Had that, and you kind of had a relapse on it too, didn't you? Are you doing okay now? You're getting better. Okay, great. Yeah, that's we're always praying for you like that. Anybody that gets it, and I know you had some other situations too that that kind of put you down. I'm a little under the weather. I actually am running a temperature. I was not feeling good today and I think I got a stomach virus. Hey, Everyday Fleet Tech. Yeah, I may have to ask Everyday Fleet Tech and Ralph. Hope I hadn't got any kind of symptoms, but I got a temperature 99.7, and I had a stomach. I think it's a stomach virus because my stomach was killing me, and I had to take some things for my stomach, which is feeling better now. So I hope I haven't got anything. I hope I don't have to go get tested and see if I'm asymptomatic or or if I actually have something. But I'm running a little bit of temperature even right now. I mean, I can feel myself sweating a little bit. So, but I'll be careful. I won't try to infect anybody out there. Well, I'm not. I hope I'm not scaring anybody on a Tuesday night. I feel good. I mean, other than that, I just had some stomach pains today. I mean, it kind of came up on me. Yeah, it could be. It could be the kung flu or whatever. My wife immediately jumped on the. She immediately jumped on the internet and started looking up all the symptoms and said, "Do you have this, this, this?" Okay, there's Josh. Josh, hold on a second. Let me see if I can get you in here. And everybody, this is Joshua. We're going to add him to the stream here. There we go. Hey, Joshua, can you hear me?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, I think everybody out here has been wondering what you look like. Now, get the light behind you. Yeah, okay, we need to get a little. Okay, we're seeing you. You're rocking us. Oh, that okay. Now there you're a little bit better.
How you guys doing over there?
Yeah, yeah. You're doing pretty good, Joshua. That's good. That's good. Now, did you graduate this year from school?
I'm actually gonna be graduating next year, hopefully.
You're going to graduate next year. Okay. Well, that's good. And you're wanting to get out here and be a mechanic or something one day, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. I hope you're able to fulfill your life's mission there. Be a good mechanic. There's a lot of good mechanics out here that's on this channel and everything else. So hopefully they can. Yeah, Josh is a basketball player. He sent me an email with a. You like basketball, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you pretty good at it?
Well, when you have a disability and it's sometimes hard to keep up with people, and it's
right now you've got some disabilities. I assume that right now. What have you got, like what's cerebral palsy or what?
I have what's called Williams syndrome, and
okay,
yeah,
that's similar to palsy though, isn't it? I thought
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm somewhat familiar with some of those. I have two brothers that have Parkinson's, and that's a debilitating disease that older people get. Well, other people can get it too, but as you age, you get that, and it breaks down some of your faculties and everything like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate to hear that, but you've been dealing with it most of your life, though, haven't you?
Yeah. I can't drive, which is really horrible for me.
Oh, you can't drive, so you don't have enough capability to drive. Yeah.
My parents had my doctor said I can't really do a lot of stuff, especially like hard,
right,
like rough sports like
football
and yeah. And there's one and I can't even drive, which is a big deal because all my other friends and
every teenager wants to drive. I know my grandson just got his permit. Yeah, every teenager wants to drive, and so I understand your frustrations there and everything. I have a good friend, Chris, that works at FedEx Ground, and he has a very similar condition to what you have. Now he's able to drive. Now he was able to get by that portion, but he's a very, very smart young man. Well, he's not a young man now. I've worked with him for about 20 years down at FedEx, but he fulfilled his college education and very smart, very sharp on a lot of things, but his speech is a little bit slow, and his motor skills are a little bit slow, and a lot of people felt like that he was not as smart, and he's sharp as everything, and it's frustrating how some people. I'm getting dinged here by something. That's actually one of my brothers. But you've got to take what abilities that you have and make the most of them, and hopefully you'll be able to one day be a good mechanic or whatever you want to be. That's the thing. I mean, the world's out there. You're what, 18?
I'll be 20 in February.
Oh, 20.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But that's what you got to do. Hey, Craig, I want to say hey to Craig. I hadn't seen him. Yeah, Craig, I don't know if some of that is still out there in experimentation on that. I think the CBD stuff is used. I don't know if marijuana itself, of course, we can't do that in North Carolina. It's not legal in North Carolina. But there's also been some situations where you can go in and they can do some sensors on the brain that will slow some of that. But both of my brothers that have that are up in the age is pretty good. I mean, they don't need to have many operations and everything, and they're dealing with it pretty good. Like I said, that was just one of them that dinged me just there on the phone. He stays on the phone all the time, and his Facebook and everything else. He stays pretty busy. But how are you dealing with it now, Josh? Let you explain what you got, because a lot of people have seen you out here, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people have chatted with you, and you're getting to be well known out here amongst the rest of them. So now, has this been the first live that you've been with anybody yet, or
No, not at all.
you've
I
been with a
was,
couple others? Huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what this condition is really rare that people ever get this syndrome like me, and the one thing that really scares me the most is when I sometimes feel like that when I'm like staying on the couch too long,
Yeah.
it tends to, you know,
Well,
raise up the heartbeats and stuff, and sometimes I get really anxious sometimes, and then when I
right.
like, yeah, and there was two scary moments for me because I had really hard times with other um with my heart, because when I was really young, people didn't people that I know was really familiar what I had, and um it turned out to be so scary, and I I almost didn't survive
Yeah.
two surgeries. I had two of them, and thank God I'm still alive.
Well,
Cause
thank God you are, because
yeah,
yeah, anything like that, and everybody has to be thankful for all their health. I mean, I'm an older man, and I'm thankful that I have the health that I do at my age. I mean, I'm almost 70 years old. I turned 69 last week, and
well, happy birthday
don't I
then.
look, yeah, don't I look good for 69, Josh? uh, but I'll set up here. Uh, but everybody, regardless of, we're all built different, and we're all going to have different abilities or disabilities. I mean, we're not all going to be a star basketball player. We're not all we're not all going to be a great mechanic. We're not all going to be a great truck driver. So
Everybody has different abilities that other
right,
people don't get very often, because sometimes if you have a condition that you have to be on a wheelchair or something else, and I
right,
was told by my doctors, it's like when I was young I almost was on a wheelchair forever, and luckily I started walking.
right. Well,
So
you have a lot of that is between your ears. A lot of that is it's the mental thing. It's your mental state of what you want, what you're determined to do. I mean, I think all the guys out there, and most of the guys online right now have chatted with you, and I think most of the guys have seen your enthusiasm of wanting to do things. And
by the
I'm
way, shout out to Joey Morrison for sending calling me. That there was one day, and I texted him saying, "Are you busy?" And he called me. So thank you for that, buddy. Shout out to you.
Joey will call you. I had to watch him. He might call in right now. Joey has called me here. I was out here working one day, and of course the business is closed. Phone's
Right.
ringing, and I didn't think anything about it. And then all of a sudden, I saw him text on there, pick up the phone, and I go, let me pick it up, and it was Joey calling. Because he does things like that. But a lot of the guys have gotten to know you online, and I think we've all kind of adopted you a little bit. All of us older guys, we like the young, enthusiastic guy that you are, and I hope you stick to it and make your life's work very valuable and everything, and get out there and do what you want to do. I mean, there's nobody going to stop you other than you. I mean, you got the determination, it looks like, and everything. Now, what part? Now, you're up there in what, Michigan area,
I'm actually in Wisconsin.
Green Bay area?
Yeah,
Are you?
I'm actually in the pier.
Oh, are you?
Mm-hmm.
You in Pierre? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
Some people, some
are you
people don't really.
are you a Packer fan? You a cheesehead?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I guarantee it. I guarantee
People
it.
sometimes people don't really understand what deep ear mean, like the word deep ear means, but yeah, I actually, it's funny because there's a bridge, it was a really cool history lesson I learned from when deep ear was actually a name of a person, and um it was it was really interesting to find out that it was actually called by a person that, or place that was really old, and somebody wanted to get a city for it, and it's called Deep Ear.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah,
yeah, that's great. So it's good that you can. Have you been into any games? Now that's have you been to any Green Bay games?
I've been to a lot of them, and it's out of control, man. Like literally, there's people drinking beer and drinking a lot of
Oh yeah,
good stuff, and
all
it's
those
just real.
cheeseheads. Yeah,
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 though them t-shirts are really popular because they always sell them, and they're always popular. Popular.
yeah. Everybody's saying hey to you. There's Yoder Doug. He's saying hey to you, Josh.
Hey Yoda, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, yeah. Everybody wanted to see Josh. I mean, the ones that haven't seen you are seeing you now. So you've been on the chat rooms and everything with everybody so much, and in and out good. Except when your parents, I was on there one night, and your parents had evidently got onto you. They
Yeah,
said you
because
had
I
to
was
get
going to
up.
bed. That's my dad told me I had to go to bed, so I'm like, okay, I have to go
Yeah,
to bed now.
yeah, that's
But
right.
yeah,
Well, I hope you're able to, like I said, maybe be a wrench turner one day, or maybe you can be, I don't know if you want to be a service writer or a wrench turner, or you never know what you want to do. And but now, are you taking any mechanics classes at school? Or I know a lot of schools have done away with them. I know they have here at my local school. Do they have a
um,
mechanic?
I, I know there's one in Green Bay that I'm going might be going to next year. Or yeah, next year when I
After you
hopefully
graduate?
yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm actually gonna be going to NWTC or Fox Valley College, which is in Appleton. So
right. Well,
and
you take everything in stride and learn everything that you can. Of course, now one thing I will tell you, even when you get out of these schools, you'll probably get your best education on the job. Now,
right.
the school itself will be good, and it will maybe you can get a diploma or whatever, or get whatever. Even if you don't get a diploma, if you get the knowledge that you've been trying to get, go ahead and get that. Don't feel like you're a failure in any way if you don't get diplomas, because there's a lot of people that have got diplomas on the wall, and
Right.
they're not worth toilet paper. I mean, just because you've got a diploma. My granddad used to say, and I remember, I've heard some other people say it too. Don't mind that boy; he's educated way beyond his intelligence. And
Right.
that, in other words, he may have the degrees on the wall, but he may not be very smart. And I've had guys that have come to me as mechanics and other things, and they would have ASE certified or what, they would have all these different certifications and showing that they could be tested good. But then you put them into real world situations, and they weren't worth a flip. I
I
mean,
was gonna say, yeah. I'm known people
there-
for a long time, and
now
it,
there's a
it
hard worker that just popped in. There's JC Smith just popped in.
hey JC Smith, how you doing? It's
Yeah,
good to see you.
yeah. JC is a hard worker. If you can, anybody that it, most people that are mechanical like JC's channel, because JC's never seen a project he won't tackle, in my
No
opinion.
kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
JC's actually tackled projects I'm going, oh crap, is he going to really try to do that? And he'll jump in there and do it. And I watched him tear apart some foam filled tires the other day. Him, and of course he has a wife that's just as strong headed as him. Brenda will jump in there and really help JC. So it's something.
Yeah, and the one thing that really sets me apart from other people is that I'm always active. Like every time I think about every time I go to school, I'm like, buddy, you have to learn something that when you make a mistake, you have to go. Yeah, you have to remember what you did and how you will how well you act.
Yep, and how not to make it. Every one of us that have done anything mechanical out here has made mistakes, and you're going to learn from your mistakes, and hopefully your mistakes won't be too detrimental. But yeah, if there's any guys out here that say they've never made a mistake as a mechanic, well, there's
I know what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, there's everybody out here has made mistakes, and you learn from your mistakes, and you learn watching other people's mistakes. And when I try to teach my drivers and everything, and I'll tell them, they say, "Oh, well, how did you know that?" I'll tell them, "Trust me, I've done it myself." I'm telling you not to do it because I've probably done it more times than you've done it, and I've tried to learn from my mistakes. So that's what you got to do sometimes. Like Comfortable Man said, they'd be lying for sure. They say they've done everything perfect because every one of them out here. What happened to my background? I don't know. I don't know what you're. I'm here at the Napa stores where I'm at tonight, Joey. I'm not at the shop tonight. I'm actually here at the Napa store. There's no background in here. I had a green screen one time. I guess maybe you're talking about my green screen.
Well, it's kind of interesting when I was trying to ask you if last time you did a live stream, you said that you were in the shop doing live on YouTube instead of live stream and stuff. It's kind of
I tried getting I tried getting you on a couple of weeks ago. I couldn't get it, but I'm having a little more technical difficulty at the shop. The stream's it's not quite as good as it is out here at the dealership. I'm gonna probably have to bump the stream. I'm only getting 200 down and 10 up, I think, at the shop, and out here at the dealership, I think I got close to a gig out here. So I've got a little bit better. Oh, you meant my green screen, did you, Joey? Okay, yeah, I don't. The green screen I got down right now. I'm actually going to build a little mini studio out there at my shop. I got one area out there, and that way I can kind of keep it clean here at the dealership and that sort of stuff. So I can just go up to the shop. Well, the shop's only about a half mile from my house, or mile.
Yeah, sure. I'm really interested into a lot of things like say for instance, I'm not sure why, but I'm a big fan of Snap-on tools and other types of companies. And then a couple of days later, like bam, I'm interested in tattoos. Like I'm always interested in things that I can't even think about. But it's like,
well, I mean, you can a lot of us even in this community of people are probably a little bit ADD. I think a lot of us get that way. And a lot of men, I think, get that way too. We bounce around and want different things. So that's not really abnormal there. I mean, I like to get good tools also. I bought some Milwaukee tools. I just got in yesterday. And so it's a variety of different things that all of us like. And whoever dies with the most tools wins. So I'm trying to shoot to see if I can't win. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, we're trying to do our best to get out here and work hard every single day. I've always got an issue of something's always coming up with my trucks and everything. I got one right now. We had a wheel seal that was leaking today, so we got it back in okay though, and we'll just have to fix that tomorrow. And JC, yeah, I like that. I don't have ADD. Squirrel, bird, yeah, okay. Yeah, get back to my tools. Yeah.
There was one funny time where on the live stream with TP Tulanic when his dog was like, he was like, "Where's that squirrel?" And then all of a sudden his dog was like, "Look everywhere." It was like so funny. He's like, and then he's like off the races.
Yeah, JC's got him a couple of nice dogs and everything. He likes his dogs. So
I love my dogs too, but unfortunately he passed away 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
And
what kind you have?
I used to have a Yorkshire Terrier.
Oh, Yorkshire Terrier.
They're one of the most awesomest dogs that I actually.
They're a little bit hyper, aren't they? A little bit hyper.
Yes, especially mine, because every time my doorbell rings, and then he's like, when there was a doorbell ring, he always jumped. He used to go, and when he heard the doorbell, he automatically jumps out of the couch and then goes right to the door, and he starts barking and barking.
Yeah, I know
that dog was really awesome, even though he kind of made a little few mistakes within the house, but which we had to clean up most of the time because he was in the.
Well, I gave you something to do. I gave you something to do if you had to clean him up.
Yeah.
My dogs, I have 2 border collies, but they don't come inside. I tell my wife that dogs will have fur on them so they can stay outside. We let them in the basement when it gets real cold and everything, but I don't let them get into the major part of the house. It's just something I just never was raised with. I mean, some people love to do that, and that's fine. And you know, I've got a sister-in-law that's a fanatic, and she does all these rescue dogs and everything. She's had, yeah, she's got a lot of them. She's a dog nut, is what I say. But you know, it's all on what they like. What have you been doing this summer now? Are you prepared to go back to school, and or what's your school situation for this fall? Are they going to run a regular school system up there, or are you going to do it online?
I've been doing it online for the last couple of months because we had school for a while, and we had to go on Zoom for a while because we had a lot of school meetings.
Right.
And every Friday morning I will wake up always early because at 11 o'clock I had to be in a high school meeting with all my high schoolers, and it was just a dramatic amount of people.
I can't figure that out. I noticed that on my grandson. 11 o'clock was the school day for them also, and I'm going, geez, I mean, on a regular school, you're there at 8 o'clock. Why are they doing it at 11 o'clock? And then it quit at 2 or something. I mean, it was like 3 hours is about all they were giving. Yeah. So I thought that was sort of strange. That
it was weird because we had only 4 or 5 minutes to actually, but now they finally have time to actually do it for like an hour, which is better on Zoom than any other thing I can think of. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, as long as you can be interactive and you can do stuff, but it still will be great to get the students back in school because I think there's so much more social interaction and everything else that they need. I mean, even though we got this pandemic and even though it's spiking up and down, I think some of it
I'll be there in a couple minutes.
Oh, you got to go, Josh. we can let you go. Sounds like your mom or dad must have popped in and said you got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let me let you go, Josh. I think everybody's been happy to see you out here, and like a couple of them said, you're the man. And so you got a lot of friends out here, but I don't want to be the one to get you in trouble with your parents. So we'll let you go, and so you take care, and I'll catch you out here another day. We'll jump on here and do it again, okay?
Yeah, thanks for having me again. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're more than welcome. You take care, and I know everybody's happy to see you out here, Josh.
don't forget, I'm. Don't
I
forget
won't.
my.
Yeah, well, I've got your email saved and everything, so you saw I linked right to you this time. So yeah, we'll get you, and we'll get you in and out here and get your opinion on things, and we'll go from there. So you take care, buddy.
I will. Thanks.
All right, see you, Josh. You go take care. Don't you go whatever your mother needed. I know it's probably your mother. It was your mother or your dad who popped in?
My mom.
Your mom. Well, you listen to your mom, so you go whatever she said do. You go do it. All right.
I will. Thanks, Mike.
All right. We'll see you. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah, that was good. I think everybody's kind of glad to see him. He's a young man he got some disabilities, but I have some friends like that, and he seems to be coping real well with it. And hopefully he'll be able to do some things. I'm glad to be able to chat with him. I chatted with him a lot, and he's emailed me back and forth, and very, very enthusiastic young man. I like that. I like that about somebody like that. He seems to have really fallen into this tool community and mechanics and everything we've got. Yeah. I think he's an awesome young man, and you like to see somebody with a good attitude like that, especially somebody that's like he said he about died a couple of times through some operations, and that makes you think twice, right? Quick. I mean, we all are here just for a small amount of time, a little limited time, and so it's it's tough. It's tough to think about it, and it makes you appreciative of whatever health you have if your health is good. He texts your phone. Yeah. He's emailed me a couple of times and sent me some pictures and a few things, and I'm real tickled to be able to. Hopefully, all the community out here that we're amongst here will keep him encouraged. And he seems to be very personable, and every time he wants to be very friendly to everybody. So I think he really enjoys it, and that kind of lifts me up when I see somebody like that. I had one of my drivers to call me earlier this afternoon. He was just disappointed with the state of the world and everything else and what was going on. And I kind of talked to him, and he said, you're a good psychologist, Mike. And I said, well, I try to be. I like a lot of times I tell people I'm a psychologist or a babysitter or adult daycare. Sometimes me and JC have talked about that. Sometimes you're an adult daycare with the trucking world out there, because you have to handhold or hold hands and make sure that everybody's feeling good. And because I have a lot of, I have 40 or 50 drivers. That means I've got 40 or 50 different personalities to deal with. So it can really tax your mental state as you try to do this and try to keep up with everybody out there, because everybody. I mean, go into business and hire a bunch of employees, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It can really, the mental strain on you can be tough sometimes. Hey Caleb, how are you? It can be very tough just to keep up with all the ins and outs of what everybody wants. Yeah, JC hit it right. I got a 40 or 50 in adult daycare, and that's what it is. I mean, I got great guys. I mean, I got some that don't even give me a call. They just do their job, and they're in and out, and I never hear from them. I've got others that will call me 50 times a day if I would answer it. So, I like for my drivers to be self-sufficient, and I like for them to be out there, just, they really don't have to call me unless there's issues. But if there's issues, do call me. That's what does FedEx have newer Cascadias? Well, on our case, I mean, I can get whatever I want. I own my own tractors. I mean, so whatever I buy is what I get. I don't have to have Cascadias or anything. But as far as FedEx Freight, now FedEx Freight has I don't see as many. I've seen some KWs out there they bought lately. So they will, they don't mandate what I actually have to buy as long as it meets the criteria of what I'm supposed to buy. In other words, I'm supposed to buy, I've got to have the forward facing cameras. I got to have the a collision avoidance system on board with it. I've got to have, like I said, forward facing and rear facing cameras, and everything else is pretty much, and of course I have to have the electronic logging devices too, and all that sort of stuff. And then our cameras are actually, they feed up to a server. So they're not even, they go straight to a server. So I don't even see where the info goes. And they usually just text me. I got, let me get this right quick. Yes.
Hey, I didn't send it to you because I didn't hear from you before I got home.
That's all right. That's all right.
And then in the chat, I ignored your comments, but it didn't seem like I was trying to coordinate with you because I'm like,
oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Actually, it was a better stream overall, just keeping it about just this subject.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe tomorrow, depending on what you got me doing. What's the schedule looking like tomorrow?
It's up in the air yet. I hate to be last minute on that, but I'm gonna have to be up in the air on that for the time being. Let me see. I've got some coming back on vacation and everything, and just keep your phone handy, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know early. If I need you early, I'll call you early. If not, if you don't hear from me until 7 or 8 o'clock, then we'll be changing the schedule up. So
8 p.m.
No, AM.
Oh, you said okay. So you might need me before that.
There's always a possibility. I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you're working utility, you got to be ready to get your pouch and hammer and be ready to rock and roll.
So you're not sure if you might even need me like at 4 this morning.
Oh no, I won't need you then. I shouldn't need you then at all. No.
Okay, that's what I was hearing.
No. Oh yeah. It'd be 7, 8, 9 o'clock at earliest, and it may not even be till either noon or later. I've got to get this one back in out of Savannah, and Steven's supposed to check, and I think he can put that seal on for me down there, so I may not even have to transport it back. So it just depends on what we're doing and everything. But I'll let you know in the morning. It's just one of those things that I can't plan it because I have no plan right now.
Well, I'll leave the phone on.
Just keep your phone handy, and then I'll give you a buzz on that. Okay. I'm on a live stream right now, so I got it. Well, that's all right. My guys, they don't care to hear me too much anyway, so they're fine. See ya. Sorry about that, guys. That's the real world. That's one of my drivers. That's a guy that just does a lot of spare work for me. He's like I was saying, you may have overheard me. He's sort of my utility guy. He does a little bit of this, does a little bit of that. So he can he checks in with me every day and that sort of stuff. I don't have to babysit him too much, not like some of the others I was talking about. But the trucking business is it can be tough out there. You can get into a situation. I mean, right now, even though the market, we're trying to get drivers in, and I still need drivers in Savannah, Georgia, and still need some spares up here in the Charlotte area. and their FedEx has got us working 7 days a week. Used to be a 5-day a week job for me. Then they went to 6 a couple of years ago, and now they've gone 7. And now I'm, because I own some. Okay, let me see. Craig said, "Who do I use for my e-logs?" We use a company called. Gosh, well, it's changed names on it, Craig, so I can't remember. Hey, how are you from Nepal? Okay, good. Yeah, it's morning for you. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know my phone was that loud, guys. Yeah. Well, I was just trying to. Whoops! I'm getting dings and everything. I'm staying busy. Oh, good gracious. Yeah, I got a lot of. Everybody's doing politics on me right now. Yeah. Well, how is good morning in Nepal? So that in Nepal, that would be, let's see, what time is it in Nepal? About 10 in the morning, 10 or 11 in the morning. Aren't y'all? Let's see, you're about 12 hours away, aren't you? Okay, you're watching from Texas, hauling oversized load cat tires. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I know. We're busy. Yeah, at FedEx Freight, y'all are busy, and we're over here at FedEx Ground. We're as busy as we can be. And all right, JC, what kind of videos you? Let me ask you that. What kind of video are we going to be looking at? Did you get all the tires on? I guess you did. You did the one tire, and I watched that, and watched you struggle with that and clean that up. And thank goodness you have Brenda out there to help you. Boy, you're a lucky man that you got a wife that works like that. Well, take care, JC. We'll see. We'll jump on. I get the notification every time you throw one out there, pretty much. If I'm not busy, so I'll definitely check it. I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, JC's a hardworking man. If nobody, I know most of you guys out there right now have watched JC's channel. I wish I had his energy. I'm at my age. I don't have the energy to be able to keep up with somebody like JC. He's doing a lot of things, and this old body here is worn down to. I can't keep up with the young guys. My knees and my ankles and everything else have taken its toll on me. Other words, what's the old saying? If I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. And that's sort of my situation, you might say. If I'd known I was going to live to be almost 70 years old, I believe I would have taken a little more care of my body. I would have kept my weight off and everything else. Yeah. I used to go into Greenville. I actually used to go into Greenville. I guess their terminals. I'll tell you one thing I did do, Shoestring. I went to the old I had to pull what they call a utility trailer away from Greenville, North Carolina, back, gosh, I think it was still RPS. And so this would have been about 1990, 91, somewhere in that area. And we had one of these, they had a mobile home that had doors on both sides of it so they could load freight in and out of it. And they called me and wanted me to bobtail down to Greenville out of Charlotte, or was I in Greensboro? I believe I was in Greensboro. And they wanted me to bobtail down there and pick up that utility trailer and bring it back to Greensboro or Charlotte. Well, I did. I went down there and we hooked to it and everything and loaded it up. And I got about halfway up to Wilson, and that darn thing started falling apart on me. I mean, just totally blowing apart. I mean, I look back and doors were rattling and things were, pieces of metal was flying off. I had to stop it. They had to get a wrecker to come out there. I basically think they towed it somewhere and burned it because it was terrible. But they thought they could make something out of it, and they had it down there and then added on to it and did all kind of crap to it. And it was not road worthy. I can tell you that. It was junk pile worthy is all it was. It was definitely it was it was definitely not a roadworthy piece of equipment because, like I said, I had to. I got up there about where is it, Farmville, I believe it was. I was up there around, and this was back before they had a 4-lane. It was still a 2-lane going from Wilson down to Greenville. It was a 2-lane road, and when I got up there and started heading up toward Farmville and everything, and that, I mean, it was just flapping in the wind. Like I said, I had to pull over and stuff was just falling out everywhere. And I had to call them and say, "Hey guys, no way I can get this piece of I think I may have called it something else than equipment back, but it was terrible. But you live and you learn, and you go with these things like that. Yeah, I pay my drivers by the mile. Yeah, my guys get paid by the mile, and then they get drop and hook pay too. They get, excuse me, they get paid by the mile. They get drop and hook pay, and then we have some others built in too, in case they're run to an additional terminal that we if they have to do extra drop and hook. A lot of times, I mean, like say for instance, they're running from Charlotte to straight back to Savannah, but they may divert them into Columbia, and the Columbia is not that far off the road. So if I just paid them the mileage, they wouldn't get paid, but $1.50, $2 or whatever, it wouldn't be much. So we bonus them for going in there, and plus they get their drop and hook pay. So we try to be very fair because I'm a driver, or have been. I know what it's all about. It's not one of these things where they say, well, it's just right there beside you. Why can't you do it? Well, it takes an extra hour. So that's an hour. So we try to compensate the drivers for that. So that's something on us that we do. We don't just say, well, that's all I'm getting paid for mileage. So it actually is coming out of my pocket. It's nothing that I'm making extra. I'm actually losing money, but I would rather treat the driver fairly at that point than try to see how cheap I can get it done. And some contractors don't pay that. So it's up to the contractor. It's, this is just a judgmental thing. I'm not judgmental, but it's a business decision that I make. So I can either, I got to have retention of the drivers, and I don't want a driver to feel like I'm taking advantage of him. And even though FedEx is usually taking advantage of me on the situation, I try not to let it affect my relationship with my driver, because if they feel like they're not getting paid for what they're doing, they're going to be very reluctant to even do it, or they're going to be disgruntled. And the worst thing you can have is a disgruntled employee like that. So I try to treat them fair. Yeah, and that's shoestring hit it just right on the head there, and it does. I mean, you can't. I've had these boss men that have no knowledge of what it takes to do things, and they say, "Oh, well, I'm going to take you 15 minutes, swing through there and drop it and get it and go." And I'm going, nah, it's not 15 minutes. It's not even 30. By the time you get in some of these places, you swing in, you're already, a couple of miles off your designated route. You swing in, then you have to open the gate, probably go through the gate, close the gate back, go in, find a place to park your unit, because it's usually crowded and stuff like that. Then you have to find the other units and then assemble them. And then by the time you do all that and then get yourself ready to rock and roll and make sure you do all the safety things, it's taking up a lot of time. Do I have a top out pay? Well, I mean, I pay every time. I guess you'd say no, because every time I get a raise, I raise my drivers. So there's not a top out. I mean, I don't do. I try to get some experienced drivers in there anyway, so they're going to probably. Well, no, ain't no problem. I start them off the same pay the other guys are making, and vacation time and stuff like that's different. Yeah, I don't do triples, but we do. Oh, we got doubles. So I'm, it's just as far as like the pay, I feel like I'm very competitive on the pay. I mean, I know what other contractors are paying. So, we try to be very competitive. I try not to, most of my guys, I'll tell you, I mean, they average, uh, if they do their job and they work every week and not a lot of layouts and stuff like that, they'll make, I think my lowest paid driver probably made 60,000 this year. So it's a good paying. And then some of them, I've got some that make as much as, oh gosh, I got some probably make 75, 80,000. I hadn't really double checked behind it, but I mean, anywhere from 60,000 on up to about 80,000. And they don't own their truck. They don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about any kind of maintenance. Hey, Blake, how are you? Yeah. All right. Yeah, you have to learn some quick tricks. I mean, I guess we all have had to learn how to. We've all had to learn how to manipulate, I guess, or manage these things. I've seen it. I've seen it go a lot of different directions. When I first started, we all had the crank up dollies or converter dollies, and we don't have those anymore. Then we went to the super single dollies, which everybody liked, but then they had so much maintenance issues on them. They were hard to get. I mean, and I think they had issues when they had like a blowout or something. It would disable the vehicle completely, and you couldn't even. I had one time that did that, and the guy couldn't hardly get it off the road safely at all. So we went through those issues, and then we've had. Now we're back to the four wheels on the converter dolly, and they're heavy as heck. So I've had guys injured to just maneuver them around. So it's a funny situation how we have gone. And you were talking about shortcuts. Different ones will learn different shortcuts and that sort of stuff. Yeah, it is somewhat like what you say there, ag tech. I mean, if you underpay your drivers, you're going to get a lower quality driver, I think, and every driver wants more. I mean, I don't care, if you pay them 40 cents a mile, they want 45 cents a mile. If you pay them 45 cents a mile, they want 50 cents a mile. If you pay them 50, they'll want 55. On. I've never seen any of my drivers say, I'd like to have less money. I've never had the very first one that would say that says, I'm making too much. Would you please cut my pay? So that's not going to be the trick question of the day. People are going to want to make the most they can, and we have to. And unfortunately, with today's economy and everything, I know everybody's starting to see inflation creep in. I mean, the cost of food, for one thing. My daughter, when she comes back with hamburger meat and or steaks, if we're able to afford it, she's been able to find some steaks occasionally, maybe on sale. But all those commodities have crept up, and once they do that, you'll never see them go back down. That's the problem with that. So we've got some inflation that's creeping into the economy right now that we're going to have to deal with for a long period of time. And we're also going to have a situation where the economy is going to change, and I'm seeing it, and I know you guys probably are seeing it too. Some things are just not coming back. I mean, I'm seeing some of these chain restaurants that are not coming back. They are shutting them down. My son and daughter-in-law, they were at the beach, and there was a Carrabba's, which was a nice Italian restaurant that was just up about a half mile from my condo. And I loved it. I would go out there and we'd order out. I didn't I didn't go in much, but I'd like to order out. Well, he said he came back yesterday and he said, Dad, you're going to hate to hear this. I said, what? He said, at Carrabba's, see, they've taken the signs off that building. He said they are closed completely. And it was a nice restaurant, and it seemed to be busy every time I was down there. So, you know, they're closing them. IHOPs are closing all over. I'm seeing what else? There's 3 or 4 different like Golden Corral. You won't see a Golden Corral open anywhere. I mean, anything that's buffet is gone now, it seems like. Now, who's? I mean, you directing that toward me, Craig? You're not telling me you're not a millionaire. Well, let me explain to you. If you're speaking to me, do I make $1 million a year? I gross more than $1 million a year. Yeah, I do. I gross several million a year, but I have to because I've got drivers. My payroll, and they're doing payroll tonight. My payroll tonight. Let me kind of give you a bird's eye view of it. But my payroll tonight's probably going to be close to 70,000 this week. This week, not this month. This week. So you figure that out times 52. So do 70,000 times 52, and that's $3.6 million for a year. So am I making $1 million? Yeah, I have to make several million to operate, and so that's yeah, you do. You have to make several million, and I do. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you about that. If I didn't gross the money that I do, I couldn't pay my bills. And I'm grossing into millions, but that does not mean that Mikey right here is keeping millions of dollars. I mean, I pay my salary's in there too. I pay myself a good salary, and I'm not going to deny that. But if you own the company, I believe you would pay yourself if you can afford it. I mean, some people can't afford a good salary when they own the business. There was years I did not pay I paid myself $0 to get the business built up. I mean, there are going to be times that are leaner than others. And then when you're first starting out and you're small, you're going to have lean times. You're not going to go out there and be able to, spend money willy-nilly and buy every Snap-on tool that comes down the pipeline. You got to learn to conserve. And do I still do the same thing? Yes, I do. I don't act like, I don't have the old champagne attitude in the beer pocketbook. But I try to keep in my mind that I've got the beer pocketbook. I don't want anybody to think that and I don't try to overspend. My wife tells me I spend too much. I can tell you that, but you have to learn to be conservative if you're going to stay in business, and you're going to have to be, you got to penny pinch, because if you don't penny pinch, there'll come a time that you need that money and it won't be there. So if you don't get to a certain point and keep so much in reserve, then you're only fooling yourself, because it doesn't take but a couple of weeks of bad time. You can bankrupt a pretty good sized business. I mean, you're seeing that happen in the economy out there right now. I mean, you're seeing these stores and these restaurants and all these other places that I'm talking about. I mean, their rent has come due. There was no revenue stream coming in for weeks. I mean, they had to make a decision. They go, we got to start laying off. We got to start closing doors. We've got to liquidate supplies, and we've got to hone down. So I would imagine some of these Carrabba's and IHOPs and everything else, they're shrinking the size of their debt down, because if they don't shrink that debt size down, they'll go out of business completely. Now, they may have gone out, like I said, in certain locations, but I would imagine they're doing that so they don't go out completely. Now, I would imagine over the next year or two, you're going to see a lot of bankruptcies. I mean, there are going to be probably more bankruptcies out there than you can shake a stick at, because we're not going to be able to see the retention that needs to be done out there on these business. I mean, it's simple math, guys. It is simple math. I mean, if the rent's coming due and you're not bringing the revenue in, you're going out of business. I don't care who you are, how pretty you are, how nice of equipment you've got, everything else. If that revenue stream is not there to match what's going out, you're out of business. And I feel very fortunate. And that being said, I feel very fortunate that I am with a good company like FedEx, and the revenue stream is there for us. We are not seeing a slowdown. We're actually seeing an increase in our business. So, but I do feel for these guys that the revenue stream has trickled down to nothing. And there are a lot of trucking lines that way too. There are some trucking lines that can't get it, and their market has gone down. I mean, you've got them fighting to get to the bottom almost. And comes a point in time when these guys, it's more feasible to park their truck than it is to run their truck. And fortunately, I am not in that situation with FedEx. FedEx is a very good company. I mean, Shoestring will tell you. I mean, I think he's been on here, with me a couple of times. He's in the FedEx Freight division. I'm in the FedEx Ground. I'm contracted. He's an employee. That's the difference between that. He gets a good salary, and they do pay FedEx Freight good, and he's got that in benefits. I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I'm the contractor. I employ the people, so it's different. Yeah, I'm still on here rattling my mouth. Yeah, JC, are you? Yeah, I ought to get you in here, JC. You want to jump on? Because I know you're probably busy, and Miss Brenda's probably a shoot you if you got on. I was on one of yours the other day, and I did the same thing. I had to leave your video, one of your live streams, and go do something. I think I overhauled an engine or something. Then came back, and you're still on. Get myself choked up here. JC is gets busy on it too. I mean, that was one of your ranting days. I forget what the subject matter was, but JC when he gets them riled up, he gets them riled up, and he has a bunch of them going at the same time. Yeah, I'm still looking. Do you know of somebody, Alan? I need some full-time and part-time, really more weekend and part-time in Charlotte. The full-time, I've got that pretty well handled, but boy, I do need some part-time right now. My weekend, I need some weekend nighttime drivers. I need some weekend daytime drivers. And when I speak of weekend, I mean Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Monday being part of our weekend, really. Yeah, well, you're a perfect example, JC. I know people talk. JC is, I admire JC. He knows how I feel about him. He and I have been pretty good friends. He's come down to my place down here, and we broke bread together. He and his wife Brenda, they ate at my house one night, and I feel like we have a good relationship, and I can always kind of count on JC. I hope he feels the same way too. And you've got to be frugal, like you were talking about. I make a lot of money. I mean, a lot of people talk about that. I do gross a lot of money. I have to, because I have a lot of obligations. That's what I've chosen to do, and that's what I try to do. And JC, on the other hand, he's more self-contained. His payroll, I think if he can pay Brenda $4 a week, he's happy. And she's worth $1 million, but I don't know. I don't know how expensive. Brenda's very frugal too. She keeps him in line. I think JC's tight, and then Brenda, I think, grabs the belt loops and tightens it up even more on him. Yeah, I bet so. You had to get those noodles. You were going through every car seat out there. I bet you that's what you're doing. You're assigning Brenda all the used cars and trucks. You're going through all the seats to see what change is falling in behind the seats. I know. Yeah, well, that is right, and net is what matters. I mean, and you know, people say about millions and everything. It it just the fact that you gross millions means nothing. It is what you can net. It's what you can bring back into this situation. It's what you can actually take. The old saying, "Take to the bank for yourself." And if you can't take enough to the bank for yourself, then you're only fooling yourself. I mean, you've got to be able to. I mean, I write myself a check each week, just and my wife does too, and we do that because we're working. We're employees of our company, and we expect to pay ourselves. Like I said, years past, I hadn't done that. In years past, you know, when I first started, I had to just, you know, it's like, have we got enough for pork and beans this week? You know, and you would do what you had to do. But fortunately, I've gone past that. Hope I'm always past that, and you know that's what you got to look at. Yeah, and you got to be able to deduct and depreciate. A lot of people don't understand depreciation out there. I mean, depreciation is a uh, very valid, very demanding, and also you've got to learn how to use depreciation in your favor. You can break yourself if you don't use depreciation in the right manner. I mean, I even balance out my depreciation. Uh, I try to buy I buy a lot of stuff in December. This past December, I think I bought 12 trucks in December on purpose. I waited to December to get them because I've got a full year's worth of depreciation without having a full year's worth of payments. So a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, when you're, uh, you know, I get the full amount of depreciation, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't pay for that truck for 12 months. I only paid for it for 1 month. And to me, that's a smarter way of doing that because I needed that truck at that time, but it's all about timing too. Because if I'd waited to January, I would have wasted, you know, depreciation on 12 trucks. In other words, I would just had to start new and fresh in January. Everything that I could have gotten back in December for that next year's taxes, as I blew it, you know. So that's what we have to do. And then, of course, you've got to know how to schedule these things too. I'm not as good on scheduling as I should be. My daughter's an accountant, and I get her to try to explain to me sometimes what the best method is and that sort of stuff because uh, there are some tricks to that. I mean, people are always saying, "Oh, you write off this, you write off that." Well, you got to make it before you can write it off. I will tell you that. I have a lot of people that tell me, "Well, that's a write off." Well, it's not a write off if you hadn't made any money. I mean, you've got to actually make some money before you can write it off. And that's sort of the misnomer that a lot of people will give you. They'll say, "Oh, well, you can write that off." Well, if I made no profit, there's nothing to write off. I mean, you've got to make it's got to be a profitable situation that you would be taxed upon to be able to write it off as a depreciated item or something like that. I mean, you can go in the hole, but then you still have got to have shown some profitability somewhere along the line to be able to get that tax money back or whatever. I mean, there's the tricks of going forward and going backwards on that too, but it's complicated. It's complicated. So you know, anybody that thinks they've got it all mastered, they're fooling themselves too, all that sort of stuff. But you know, it is what it is. Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you don't have to complain about taxes that you don't if you don't make the profits, you're not going to have to worry about the taxes. Uh, I remember a guy that was over payroll when I worked at Carolina Freight. And, you know, I remember getting a raise one time and I said, "Oh man, they really took out a lot of taxes on me." He said, he said, "I'd love to be able to work one day and they took out $1 million taxes on me." And I said, "Why would you want that?" And he said, "Because that means I made $2 million." and I kind of got the idea of what he was talking about because, you know, that's it in a nutshell. I mean, you have to go for those bigger numbers to be able to retain your smaller number. And, you know, like we were talking about a while ago about salaries and everything. I mean, these large salaries and the cost of fuel. I spend a ton of money in fuel. I spend a ton of money in salary. And then I have my regular maintenance on my trucks and everything. So there are mind-boggling numbers that the average person you can't comprehend it until you do it. I know JC is probably closest of anybody, or Blake's out there too. Blake's got a dump truck business, you know, and until you actually do these things yourself, you really can't fathom of how much is involved with that and how big of a numbers that you're going to have to deal with sometimes. And, you know, it is what it is. I was at an auction the other day, and I saw some guys that buying stuff right and left, and I'm thinking, man, they've got to have it rolled back. They got to, of course, they're in the salvage yard. People are people would crap their pants for sure if they had some of my expenses and also some of JC's. JC and I converse every once in a while on some things, and he knows what I'm talking about. I know what he's talking about. When you go out and you make a bid on 10, 15, 20 trucks, the average person would just crap, like I said, crap in your pants if you saw what we had to do. But you've got to look at big pictures too. You got to look at, you know, can I make X amount of dollars, turn this money quick enough to be able to, you know, make a certain amount of profit. And then if you have to set on some of it, you set on some of it. Your last refund was in 03. Wow. Oh, that's when you had your last job. Okay. That's when you was working for the other man, huh? Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I mean, the government basically is using your money for the entire year. In business now, of course, you're like me. What I try to do, and I know JC, you probably do too. We try to on the risk factor, as you're talking about, you've got to get your taxable income as low as you possibly can, and that's my goal. It's not so much how much I get back, because I don't get much back. A couple of years, I mean, if we exceeded depreciation, maybe for a year, or if it's overlapped or something like that, and then you can get some money back sometimes. Sometimes you don't. I mean, usually we're right up just about even Steven. Yeah, I mean, you've got to. It is a calculating nightmare sometimes, and you can, and the average person is going to make some mistakes with it. I mean, you're not going to be perfect on your depreciation and your maintenance and everything that you think is going to happen. Just as soon as you think it's going to happen. I mean, it's sort of like us with the trucks. I mean, I was thinking the other day, one week it was radiator week because we had 2 or 3 radiators go out. One week it was turbos. One week it was clutches. We had several clutch jobs to do at a time. So, you know, just when you think you get a little bit ahead, then bam, you'll get something that will kick you in the butt real quick. So, you know, when you're dealing with rolling stock like we do, it's not if it's going to break, it's when it's going to break, because it will break. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you're talking about a one-man job. I mean, JC has that somewhat, but JC's got a pretty good size one too. It's a one man, but that one man works his butt off too. And so, you know, y'all guys can see him. Oh yeah. I didn't add every expenditure out, Craig. if I, if you want to see a grown man cry, I would add them all up. But, yeah, it's tough. Insurance is tough. I mean, you know, I pay out so much in insurance. I have to pay it weekly. I mean, most guys would think, well, how much is your insurance a year? I can tell you how much mine is per week. I mean, my insurance bill is that high. I mean, they wouldn't give it to me by paying, you know, every 6 months or everything like that, or unless they got it all up front. But I pay my insurance weekly. Yeah, no, we do stuff like that. Of course, I'm. This is why I'm in the Napa business, of course, and we're able to. And I try to get it knocked down as quickly as much as I can through Napa and through the reps and everything else, because I buy in volume. I mean, that's the key to it. I buy, you know, bulk and in volume, and I'm able to take advantage of the bulk buying as a owner of the business here, and then I'm able to pass on that. Of course, now I still charge my own shop something because I've got to make a profit back to my Napa store. I can't starve out my Napa store to make my trucking business more profitable. I'm just fooling myself. So I still charge. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, you get it at cost." No, I get it at a good deal, but I still charge my own shop, just like every other shop that charges it, because everything's got to stand on its own. I mean, my Napa store has to be able to pay its bills too. So I didn't buy the Napa store to make it lose money so I could make more money on the trucking. What I did do is to be able to make sure I can retain as much as I can and that sort of stuff. Well, hi, Lord Sarit. I don't know that name. Glad to have you in here, though. I get a lot of people now that I don't know, but we're glad to, you know, as long as everybody conforms to what we're doing in here, I'm glad to see the new people too. I'm getting them from all over the world now. Yeah, it's pretty neat. You know, we a lot of the guys that are in here now are you know, see each other on other chat rooms and stuff like that, and we kind of converse, keep up, and it's pretty neat. And it's great to be able to see. I've got a couple of friends in Austria and Australia, and a couple of people from India, different places, and as long as we're able to converse and get good ideas and everything, I'm all for it. Yeah, well, the thing about workman's comp, you have to, even on yourself sometimes, even if you're self-employed, you gotta. I carry it on myself. I carry workman's comp on me because if I were to get hurt, uh, I would want to. Who was that? Something. I got a notification up here. I was trying to figure out what was that. Okay. I don't know who that is. All right. But anyway, you know, it's good to be in business for yourself for the fact that it's satisfying. I mean, I am satisfied and I enjoy it, and I think it keeps me feeling young. I try to you know, do things that keep me. You know, I don't know if it makes me look young, but I feel younger and stay involved. It keeps me mentally alert, you might say. Yeah, if JC get hers. Yeah, Brent. I don't know if Brandon could pull your fat butt out there to the road and let you get run over, but yeah, we. And you know, it's sort of crazy. My dad, we used to kid him about it. I said, Dad, you know, if anything ever happened to you on the bulldozer, we'll just, you know, if you had a heart attack or whatever, we'll just lay you down under the tracks and just run over you and say it's accidental. And my dad actually had a heart attack using a bulldozer. And it's sort of sad because that's what he said. He said, maybe y'all should have run over me. And it just broke my heart. Broke my heart that we'd even kidded about that because unfortunately, about 10 days later, he passed away. He had a second heart attack and it took him out. But yeah, he said that to us boys. He said, yeah, boys, y'all should have just, you know, run me over with the bulldozer and let it look like an accidental death. And it was tough. You don't want to lose your dad at any time. And when he said that, it stuck with me. I remember that. And I said, I'll never say anything like that again. But we used to kid about that. And then when it actually happened, it was tough, really tough. Yeah, I mean, you got to have some life insurance. I mean, I've got a decent amount of life insurance myself because if something happens, I want to at least let my wife be able to make enough money or retain enough money until she could dissolve the corporation or whatever we'd have to do. So that's what I have to do. Well, gosh, it's almost 11 o'clock. Guys, I'm going to get out of here because I'm tired. I had a rough day today and I got a little bit under the weather. So I was a little bit sick today, but I'm feeling okay now. And I had a little bit of fever. I think either I ate something wrong. I hope that's what it was. But I had a little bit of a stomach virus earlier today. Feeling pretty good now. Hopefully my temperature's gone down. I had a little bit of a temperature, but I'm going to get out of here and y'all take care because I've enjoyed it tonight. I had Joshua on here and been able to just chit chat with a lot of people. Y'all take care. I'm going to get out of here and I'll see you around.